This is America Weather Streaming Channel meteorologist Chris Schromick with an update here on this line of severe thunderstorms that has worked its way into east central Kansas. Currently, this line of thunderstorms is now extending through the Concordia area and Clay Center, Kansas, down towards Abilene and Junction City, and then up into Nebraska towards York, all moving to the east-northeast. This line of severe thunderstorms has now moved through this area of higher dew points that has been forecasted to be out here to the east or eastern parts of Kansas, northeast of here central Kansas, and they did not reach any tornadic activity levels. The storm reports that we have seen here this evening have pretty much all been wind reports. When we were on earlier this afternoon in northwest Kansas, we saw some of these reports come in here of 60-mile-an-hour winds. We did have the fire that broke out in Rawlins County. That has subsided and been monitored now by crews with put out early this afternoon. The winds out here in western Kansas have also turned to a west-northwest direction, and this is the area that we need to watch during the evening, overnight, and tomorrow. The forecast is that these winds will continue to pick up here this evening. We've got winds that are gusting out there here after about 7 p.m. this evening. They start going down a little bit, and then this area here, 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds will move back in after midnight. Out here in Colorado, you'll see these winds really increase. We'll move them into northwest Kansas during this is the midnight or 1 a.m. time frame. We've got gusts up to 69 miles per hour here in northwest Kansas. It's low now, and the storms will be out over here towards the Omaha area and out at the end of that watch box, which ends at 9 p.m. here this evening. So these storms will probably weaken as we go into the evening hours, being at their max strength here the last hour to 2 hours, moving through those higher dew points. And then out here in Colorado, we've got these winds after midnight. We see some gusts out here going upwards to 80 miles an hour on the foothills. You get out there around Boulder and places in the northwest suburbs of Denver, and we've got some very, very strong winds from the north direction there. And then this stuff moving into northwestern Kansas. And most of this is north of I-70, and we do have reports now on I-70 that we do have road closures. Right now, I-70 is closed for traffic between Oakley and Hayes on the eastbound lanes, and also westbound lanes from Hayes to Waukene, and that is due to there has been accidents out there and mostly blowing dust. That continues to be an area that's in that 60-mile-an-hour winds, and we're seeing that continue there. So there is hazardous travel across much of Kansas behind the system. So if you're traveling Kansas to the west, particularly the west of that Hayes, the roads are closed, the highways are shut down, and we don't have any indication when those will open up because they're clearing accidents off the highways. So this is really becoming a wind event, particularly through tomorrow morning. We'll be looking at that wind warning in place through the day as we get more towards during the morning hours tomorrow. We start to see these winds are continuing all the way into the morning. That 65, 70-mile clip. We get to around lunchtime here across northwest Kansas. We're still, blowing 60 miles an hour. So the high wind warning will be in place all day tomorrow across much of Kansas, and something that travel is probably not recommended tomorrow. We'll go back to our radar summary here. And again, that watch box extends here through Emporia, just to the west of Topeka, Marysville, and up into Nebraska. These storms have really weakened up here in Nebraska, and the strongest ones are here that have moved through the Clay Center areas to the northwest of Manhattan. We did not have much hail being reported in these, but it is straight line and winds being reported up there around that 70 miles per hour. So that's going to be blowing the dust around, and any traveling out here, high profile vehicles would be limited here this evening. again, we'll just keep an eye on this here at America's Weather Streaming Channel. We're particularly looking at doing more of this live coverage, especially across Kansas and Nebraska as we get into severe weather season. Make sure that you have our Facebook pages followed, particularly Kansas, Nebraska, Colorado here in the Midwest. That's kind of where the storms will start. And I'll be the meteorologist that kind of kicks this off. And then as these systems move into the Midwest, our other team of meteorologists will take over and keep the folks updated. Each state has their own Facebook page. So to get your state and local updates, be sure to like the Facebook pages. On YouTube, subscribe to My Weather Now, and then that'll get you in the YouTube feeds to see these live videos and the localized content as we put them up. And more direct weather, if you want personal weather for your home, business, and something you can talk to the meteorologist one-on-one, the America Weather Streaming Channel's focus is that personalized, accurate, and accessible weather forecasts for home and businesses. And with our Weather Valet phone app, that allows you to have access to our meteorology team that can answer your questions and give you alerts and forecasts pushed to you specific for your location and area. And then you can ask questions back and we'll have those answers to you right away. So it's more of not a computer app or AI technology where it's for a larger area, and when you don't know when it's going to update, you have to go get it and look for it. You have access to us when you need that question answered. So if you go to weathervalet.com, you can get registered there and then put in your billing information. It's around $1 a day, and that's a pretty good investment. We've had some of our early trials here the last couple of weeks where we've, on one farm had an incident where they weren't ready for a freeze and got a forward warning of that and was able to move some equipment around and avoid some freeze here. Recently, we had these high winds and even some snowstorms where they were able to move cattle and get things ready for the storms ahead of time with these localized forecasts. So again, severe weather live coverage. We're going to do more and more of that on the Facebook pages, and the Weather Valet app will send the updates there to you to let you know when we're going on. And then we could have 2 or 3 meteorologists at a time, kind of the one most familiar with the area doing the commentating, and then the others, putting storm reports and pictures and answering your questions as they come in. So we're building a live channel at the same time having those localized, specific, and accurate forecasts for our consulting and customers on the Weather Valet phone app. So again, I just wanted to run that down to you here. We got the severe weather watch out here in East Central Kansas until 9 p.m. this evening. If you're out there in that Emporia or Manhattan areas, Topeka, Marysville, Beatrice, Nebraska, all the way to Lincoln, take precautions. You're going to be some 70-mile-an-hour winds in that line, and that could push definitely higher profile vehicles along, around the roadways. That's what we're having problems with here in Kansas, is the reduced visibility with the dust. And we had some semis and car accidents that closed the highways down. This wind and blowing dust in western Kansas is going to continue tomorrow. You got to remember, these were 50-mile-an-hour winds today. We're talking tomorrow morning or after midnight, 60 to 70-mile-an-hour range. And that's going to, continue to blow this around. If we do have any fires that ignite, like we've seen out here in western Kansas, it takes a lot to put those out with these winds blowing like they are. They move fast. There was 2 counties, actually 3 counties on the fire just south of town, and they got that put out in a couple hours. But it was a large fire, and if it could have caused some serious problems. And it was next to the Highway 25, so smoke went across the highway and did cause that to be shut down for a little bit of a period of time, or at least it was, people were flagged not to go across there. So I-70 is closed across Kansas here for some time. You stay updated, use Kansas roads, 911, the 511 Kansas roads. You can also check all your local EMS page websites and pages. They're updating the road closures, the winds, and all these warnings that are in place. And for your severe thunderstorms, you can go to your local National Weather Service office. But again, this here, we're going to finish off with this report of this line. You go going through, it's now moved through Clay Center. You zoom in on this, we're looking at Randolph, Cottage Hill, Blue Rapids, all these on the Blue River coming out of Nebraska here, Steel City. River kind of winds down here. It's kind of moving over the Blue River, the Kansas River area, and they're all moving to the northeast here. And you can see where these winds are. They're pretty much in these bows. These higher wind gusts will be right in here on this leading edge. And again, 70-mile-an-hour winds definitely can knock down some tree limbs and things of that nature. But tying things down in your yards and that is the biggest thing. So I'm going to close that out here. Again, I'm meteorologist Chris Schromick with the America Weather Streaming Channel. Wanting you to like the Kansas Facebook page, and that way we can get your updates what's going to go on. We'll have watches, warnings ahead of times, the forecast. If you sign up for the Weather Valet, you'll get a personalized forecast each morning at 7 a.m. Updates pushed to you throughout the day if there's changes, and then that ability to come back and ask us questions if you have an event planned for some time that we need to watch for you, or you need to move farm equipment around. Got some truck hauling to be done. We can plan ahead for that, put it on our calendars, and then we can watch the weather for you and get you the information as you need it. Again, that's what we got out there this evening. We got the severe thunderstorm watches in the area that extends from Columbus, Nebraska, all the way to Wichita. These storms could be firing up on this line all the way through 9 p.m. We have kind of moved through the max heating of the day, and the dew points are those higher dew points, and we've already passed that area. So we're not expecting storms to intensify, but just stay strong through the evening. And then again, everything behind this from Hayes all the way to Denver, high wind warning in place. We could see gusts up there on the foothills, that Boulder area, upwards 80, maybe 90 miles an hour. You get out here, northwest Kansas, northeast Colorado, the tri-states area, and we're talking 60 to 70 mile an hour winds through most of the day tomorrow. So Sunday is going to be a windy day and probably a good day to not get on the roads and stay at home. Thank you. That concludes tonight. Have a good night. Be safe, and check back in on Monday, and we'll be doing that solar eclipse. We'll have information for you. It looks like the best place to see that is on this area from I-70 from across Kansas all the way St. Louis. You get down here, we got clouds in the south, but northern Arkansas through southern Missouri, Kansas City, St. Louis, that's the best viewing area. You could see partially around 75% to 100% of totality if you get down here in this West Plains area, Fort Smith and Cape Girardeau, these southern parts, St. Louis area. So that's Monday. Now we're going to be prepared for a windy Sunday and see if we can see that solar eclipse on Monday. Thank you. Good night.